Hey friend, welcome back to Food is My Love Language. I'm Kim. Today is December 31st, and as I'm creating some of my goals for the new year for 2022, which is crazy, I wanted to share some of those with you. So as far as my sort of food and cooking and gardening and things like that go, I have two very specific goals that I want to accomplish this year. One is to stay much more organized with what I'm growing, what I'm preserving, what I'm buying. I want to be very intentional about it. Often, things get pushed to the back. I don't necessarily, have a full inventory of what I have. And so every time I'm sort of meal prepping, I'm going through my indoor pantry, I'm going through my extended pantry, I'm going through my freezer, and it just extends the process by so much. So that's one of the goals. I'll tell you about what we're going to do about that in a second. My second goal is to be much better about sort of scanning my inventory and figuring out what to make from that. That is not a strong suit for me. I very much am a recipe girl. I cook by recipe. Now, they might be my own recipes, but I still cook by recipe. So I want to get much better at sort of looking at a variety of things or scanning my inventory tracker spreadsheet, seeing what I have and seeing, what I want to make out of that based on what I already have in stock. Because when you're using recipes, it never fails. I've got to go buy one or two or three or four ingredients for it. So I really want to try and mostly use what I have on hand. Obviously, fresh fruits and veggies through the winter are, not going to happen. I'll still have to buy those. Dairy, I'll still have to buy. But for the most part, I really want to be using what I have preserved, what I am preserving, what I am growing. And so that's one of my goals this year. So I spent many hours creating this inventory tracker that allows me to track all of my inventory in my freezers, in my fridge, in my pantries, and I'm making that totally available to you for free. You don't have to join my email list. You don't have to do anything to get it except click on the link in the description below. It'll take you to a page on my website, and from there you can just download it and watch the tutorial video on how to use it. So I'm going to be using it today in order to kind of track my inventory. This is just my baking supplies. I pulled everything out of my baking cupboard. And so I need to get these organized. I know I've got duplicates of things. I know I've got things that probably need to be thrown out or composted. And so I'm going to start with this. Then I'm going to move on to my indoor pantry, my outdoor pantry, and my freezers. So this might take me into tomorrow. One of the reasons that I want to do this right now is because I'm going to do the Three Rivers Pantry Challenge. If you haven't heard about it, go check her out on YouTube. But basically, there's sort of rules to follow. But I don't like rules. I don't like rules. I'm not a rule follower. So I am going to do guidelines for myself. So basically, I'm going to give myself a $100 budget for anything food related for the month of January. So all I have to spend is $100, which will probably mostly be fresh fruits and vegetables. Everything else has to come from my pantries or my freezer, or my freezers, I should say. So the goal is to get through some of the stock before I start growing more things in the spring and then preserving more things in the summer. So that's my goal, is to not spend more than $100 on groceries for the month of January. And I may extend this to the month of February. I don't know yet. We'll see how it goes through this month. So I'm going to cook from what I already have. I'll buy the odd thing, but again, $100 is my grocery limit. And so I'm going to start tracking so that I can start meal planning, and that'll make meal prep so much easier, and I'll be able to get through some of these things that I already have. So let's get cracking. Okay, so I've got my pantry tracker open, my spreadsheet here on my laptop. I've got all my baking supplies here. And so the goal is to just start here with what I have and then fill in the blanks. So I've got a 5.5-pound sack of no additive dark rye flour. That is not on my tracker spreadsheet, so I'm going to add that here. So I'm going to go down to, I've got these all sorted alphabetically. You can do that, or you don't have to if you don't want to. So I'm going to add in flour right here. And I'm just going to copy this because it'll copy the formula over here that I don't want to touch. And the joy of doing this is that once it's done one time, all you have to do is keep it up from then on. So let's put in dark rye flour, and brand doesn't matter to me. Size is 5.5 pounds. Optimal supply, I like to keep one of these on hand, and I actually have one on hand right now. So you'll see this goes back to 0. Once I get through this, or I'm almost at the end of this, and I change this to having none on hand, this will show me how many I need to buy. So this is why we don't touch anything over here in the gray area. But in this case, I have one that I like to keep on hand. One is my current supply. And so this one is done. And I think I'm just going to bold that just to show myself that I have already actually done that particular line. Now I know I have a ton of chocolate chips. This is the size that I like to have, 1.8 kilograms. So let's go to chocolate chips. And the size is 1.8 kilograms, so that's the big bag. Optimal supply, I like to keep 2 of those on hand. And currently, I have 1 of them on hand. At least that's what I've got right now. But I know there's other chocolate chips in here, so I might come back to this line here and revise that as I find more chocolate chips here. All right, we'll do one more item because I need to move on and get these done. I have a ton to do. So let's move on to the craisins. So I'm going to go here and insert a row below, and then I'm just going to copy one of these so it keeps the formulas for me. And then I'm going to write over here, craisins, and I'll just put dried cranberries just for my own purposes. That's the joy of this spreadsheet, is you can totally alter it and make it what you want. And this size is 1.36 kilograms. And I like to have 2 of these on hand, but it looks like I've got 1 on hand. So this shows me that the next time I go do my grocery haul, I'll need to buy 1 of these if I don't find any more. Now I'm just putting all my flours over here because I actually have 5-gallon buckets, so I can dump those into the 5-gallon buckets. So this is part of my pantry up here. I've got flour, oats, chia seeds, bran. I've got grains, pasta, almond flour, coconut flour, things like that. So this is part of my indoor pantry. And this is the other part. So I've got all of my baking stuff up here. I've got a lot of my, tuna and seafood and condensed milk. I've got soups, coconut milk, adobo sauce. I've got some chips in the back there. These are just sort of miscellaneous baking that don't fit in the baking shelf. And then I have this whole section down here. And that's current stock of my canning. That's breadcrumbs, crackers, more pasta, sauces, and things like that. So let's start with taking inventory of this. So for this, we're going to make sure that we're on the pantry tab, and we're going to scroll down past baking supplies, which I've already done. Beverages, this is not my beverage cupboard. Bread and pasta, that would be down this section here. So I've got a large box of panko and then a quart of homemade breadcrumbs. So let's put that onto our spreadsheet. Okay, so here's one of those things that I get. This is what happens. I don't know what I have, and so I duplicate buy things. So I just found when I was doing my baking supplies, Bob's Red Mill nutritional yeast, brand new, and then I've also got this Bragg's nutritional yeast, brand new. So now I have 2. That's okay, I'll get them used, but I'm so glad I'm doing this because now I'll know what I have and I can actually use what I have. So I'm not going to bother taking you through all of the things that I need to itemize in inventory in my own house and in my extended pantry and freezers. It's going to take several hours. And to be honest, it's going to take a long time already. If I'm trying to film and edit, it's going to make it way longer. So I think you get the idea. If you want to download the spreadsheet and start inventorying your own pantry, freezer, fridge, etc., again, the link is down below. Thank you so much for joining me. I will let you know how it goes in January as I do this pantry challenge, and I will keep you updated with videos as I go along. I would love to know if you're going to do the pantry challenge, what your own rules or guidelines you've made for yourself in regards to this are, and let's do this.